to get a piece of the AI development pie. AI companies are also wondering about loosening some of Europe's AI rules. This after President Trump negated some Biden-era rules. Marketplace's Nova Safo has more.
The French government says it wants the AI summit to result in broader access to artificial intelligence through more open source development and shared data sets. France is partnering with India on the summit, a sign it is trying to build a rival nexus of AI power compared to the US and China. The French government has lined up more than $100 billion in new private sector investments. The summit comes amid a dizzying array of AI developments. DeepSeek showed China is nearly caught up to the US in AI chatbot technology. Meanwhile, President Trump, in one of his first acts in office, reversed AI safety rules set by the Biden administration. Those rules were focused on setting testing standards for certain high-risk AI systems. Now the EU is facing pressure to loosely enforce its own landmark AI regulations passed last year. They include prohibitions on social scoring systems and risk management requirements. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
President Trump told reporters yesterday he will announce new taxes on steel and aluminum imports today. Mexico, Canada, and Brazil are the biggest exporters of these metals to the U.S. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has that.
Trump told reporters the 25% tariff would apply to any steel or aluminum coming into the U.S. He didn't say when the new tariffs would take effect. It's also not clear how the new tax would apply to China, if it would be on top of the tariffs already in effect on Chinese imports. Julia Coronado is president and founder of Macro Policy Perspectives. She says U.S. industries that use a lot of steel, like construction and manufacturers of planes and cars, would be hit especially hard by steel and aluminum tariffs and would probably pass some of the cost along to their customers.
Some of it gets offset by currency adjustments, some of it gets absorbed into profit margins, and something like half of it gets passed along to the final consumer.
Trump also said yesterday he'll announce new reciprocal tariffs this week. He said they would match other countries' tariffs on U.S. exports dollar for dollar. The spokesman for the European Commission says it will, quote, react to protect the interests of European businesses. Trump imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum from the EU during his first term. Europe retaliated with levies of its own on U.S. exports of products like orange juice, bourbon, and Harley-Davidson motorcycles. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
Let us do the numbers. Up, Dow futures up 0.5%, S&P futures up 0.4%, NASDAQ futures up 0.6%. The 10-year interest rate is up just slightly, 4.49%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Rubrik. When cyber attacks come for the cloud and threaten business operations, Rubrik gives you the power to bounce back fast. More at Rubrik.com. And by Baird. Baird strives to attract and retain top financial talent, providing stability and continuity for clients. More at BairdDifference.com.
Social Security, signed into law 90 years ago by President Franklin Roosevelt, is the financial foundation of retirement in America. It's about a safety net so that retirees don't live in abject poverty, and data show the program helps people younger than 62 as well, when the children of retirees share a household with their elders. Marketplace's senior economics contributor Chris Farrell has been going through the studies for us. Hey, Chris.
Good morning.
All right, so we have this data, more children living with older adults who are drawing Social Security, household income being fungible. What's behind this?
The numbers are really compelling, David. The fraction of children under 18 living in households with any exposure to Social Security income, it's risen from 6.8% in 2000 to 9.1% in 2019. So that's an increase of about 1/3 in 2 decades. And there are a number of factors that are behind the growth in grand families or kinship families, where grandparents are the primary caregivers. Among those important: substance abuse, incarceration, financial hardship, military deployment, illness, and death.
So the money comes in for the household expenses and it kind of gets all mixed up. So you have this kind of Social Security subsidy for younger people as well.
That's right. So the estimates are about 50% of retirement age people live in households receiving at least half of their family income for Social Security, and you can file for benefits as early as age 62. And this recent study by several economists, they focus on children under age 18 who are living with grandparents, with the oldest adult around that age of 62.
and what they find.
Social Security has a meaningful and positive impact on the economic circumstances of children in grand families. Now, Social Security doesn't increase household income on average, probably because the older adults are retired or they're semi-retired, but the payments are associated with less risk to children who will live in deep poverty. The economists also point out that older adults receiving Social Security have more time available to them to spend with their grandchildren, which is good for their cognitive development and educational attainment.
It's been studied and shown that the poverty rate among the elderly has plunged because of Social Security. Can we say the same thing for the children that are benefiting?
I think so. So their study echoes data from a recent Census Bureau report, which suggests that 1.4 million fewer children were in poverty in 2023 because of Social Security payments. And here's the number that really took me by surprise, David. As of 2019, children are more likely to live in a household receiving Social Security income than one receiving traditional cash welfare.
Marketplace's senior economics contributor Chris Farrell in St. Paul. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
And I missed it early in the game, but my director saw it, a Super Bowl ad addressing U.S.-Canada economic relations. It was an ad paid by Ontario, highlighting that the Canadian province is America's third largest trading partner and the #1 export destination for 17 U.S. states. The voiceover said, "Our long-standing partnership keeps millions of Americans working." It's unlikely President Trump saw it. He was at the game, and prior to it, he told Fox News he's serious about Canada becoming a 51st U.S. state. I'm David Brancaccio, Marketplace Morning Report. 8 p.m., American Public Media.
This is 91.3 WLRN in HD1, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, 91.5 WKWM in HD1, Marathon, Key West, 105.5 WOLL HD2 Hope Sound, and 101.9 NPR for the Palm Beaches.
In an era of misinformation and half-truths, WLRN stands apart. Through our partnership with PolitiFact, we ensure that every claim we report is rigorously fact-checked and backed by evidence. At WLRN, we believe journalism should inform, not mislead. It's about delivering the truth when it matters most. To you, your family, and our community. WLRN. Your source for facts, your guide to the truth.
The Kravis Center presents On Point, Dance and Fashion Photography Exhibition, a collection of photographs showcasing the collaboration between top fashion houses and the New York City Ballet, captured through the lens of photographer Pari Dukovic. Complimentary admission, open now.
Good morning. Arbitrary and capricious. That's how critics describe many of President Trump's executive orders aimed at the federal workforce. We'll take a look at some of the laws they cite on Morning Edition from NPR News.
Coming up from the WLRN newsroom, why a candidate to lead a major South Florida university is facing criticism from students.
Trump's quest to expand America's control over lands far from U.S. borders is raising questions and concerns. I'm Michelle Martin.
And I'm Ian Martinez. We go to Copenhagen, where officials are baffled about Trump's claim that he wants to take over Greenland. Also, researchers may have figured out how to grow teeth for humans in pigs' mouths. Yeah, you heard me right. And we have a story behind an open source battle map of the Ukraine-Russia war that's always shifting. It's Monday, February 10th. Actress and activist Laura Dern is 58 years old today. News is next.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman. Most of the work at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has stalled this morning. The acting chief has told workers the Washington headquarters are closed for the week and they have to work from home. Critics say it appears the Trump administration is trying to close down the agency. Recently fired former CFPB chief Rohit Chopra says this is a law enforcement agency.
It takes big financial institutions to court who cheat consumers. Whether it's a credit reporting agency or a large bank or a credit card giant, the CFPB has been recovering billions of dollars for consumers who were wrong.
He spoke to NPR's Morning Edition. Meanwhile, President Trump says that today he will announce a new 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports into the U.S. NPR's Asma Khalid has more.
The president said these steel and aluminum tariffs will apply to everybody, even neighboring Canada and Mexico. Trump also said he'll be announcing reciprocal tariffs on other items. That would apply to countries that impose duties on U.S. goods.
Very simply, if they charge us, we charge them.
He said he plans to roll out details at a news conference later this week.
But if they are charging us 130% and we're charging them nothing, it's not going to stay that way.
Trump also told reporters that no foreign company should have a majority stake in U.S. steel. But he did encourage Japan's Nippon Steel to make an investment in the revered American company. Asma Khalid, NPR News.
A federal judge is scheduled to hear arguments today in Boston on whether the Trump administration's attempts to get federal workers to resign is legal. Employee unions sued over what the White House calls deferred resignation offers. The judge temporarily blocked that effort last Thursday and then extended the deadline for workers to decide until later today. The Israeli military has expanded its operation in the northern part of the occupied West Bank. Israel launched that operation just 2 days after the ceasefire in Gaza went into effect. NPR's Kat Lonsdorf reports from Tel Aviv.
Israel says it is conducting counterterrorism operations and that many of those killed were militants. On Sunday, a 23-year-old pregnant woman was killed by Israel in the Palestinian refugee camp of Nur Shams. The Israeli military says it's opened an investigation into the incident. This operation began in the Jenin refugee camp, but has spread to others over several weeks. In a statement, the military says it is, quote, crushing terror infrastructure in the refugee camps and preventing its resurgence. Palestinian officials in the camps say utilities like water and electricity have been destroyed during the raids. More than 74 Palestinians have been killed in this operation, including several children, according to Palestinian health officials. Kat Lonsdorf, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
You're listening to NPR. From the WLRN Newsroom, I'm Christine DiMattei. One of the candidates to lead Florida Atlantic University is facing criticism from students and faculty over his political past. WLRN education reporter Natalie LaRoche-Pietri brings us this report from a forum held Friday afternoon at the Boca Raton campus.
President, not politician. President, not politician. Students, not prisoners, and Presidente, no politico, were some of the signs students held in protest of former state representative Adam Hasner. The Florida Republican Majority Leader in the Florida House of Representatives is currently an executive at Geo Group, a private prison contractor. He's one of the latest in a growing trend in Florida. Presidential candidates for public universities are increasingly politically connected leaders with little experience in higher education. The college Democrats at FAU organized the protest, including junior Nicholas Ostheimer.
They're far more preoccupied with their partisan right-wing culture war agenda than they are with what's actually in the best interest of the university community.
Hasner struck a non-political tone at the forum. One student worried that securing funding from Tallahassee would come at the cost of programs not aligned with the conservative agenda.
I check partisan politics at the door. You have my commitment on that. I do not view being the president of the university as politically red or politically blue.
It wasn't all opposition to Hasner's bid. Like Ellie Rapp, a sophomore studying criminal justice.
We believe Adam Hasner is the right candidate to keep Jewish students safe and all students safe here at FAU.
The other candidates include John Volin from the University of Maine and Michael Hartline from Florida State University. I'm Natalie LaRoche-Pietri in Boca Raton.
FAU's Board of Trustees is expected to vote for the school's next president by the end of the day today. Front and center on WLRN's homepage this morning, from our news partners at PolitiFact Florida, 5 misleading claims from President Trump's executive order on gender-affirming health care for transgender youth. You can find that story and much more at WLRN.org. This is WLRN News. I'm Christine DiMattei. Now it's back to Natu Twe.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for making WLRN a part of your Monday morning listening. Thank you for starting your week off with South Florida's NPR news source. We're 91.3 WLRN. At 8:06, it's Morning Edition.
You can step into the curious world of bugs, a new exhibition at the Philip and Patricia Frost Museum of Science. Dive into the lives of incredible insects, explore giant models, and get up close with the tiniest creatures that shape our planet. Tickets at frostscience.org. Baptist Health Brain and Spine Care, named one of the top neurology and neurosurgery programs in the nation by U.S. News and World Report, is dedicated to delivering world-class care